Oh, hey there. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Ashley, and today I'm going to talk about my bridal shower. So obviously the first thing you think about when you are going to plan a bridal shower. Okay, let me preface this with I am pretty type A. It's difficult for me to let control go. I know typically the maid of honor, mother of the bride, mother of the groom, bridesmaids will throw together this bridal shower or put on this bridal shower is probably a better way to say this. But I knew that I wanted it to be a specific way, and so it was just easier for me, truthfully, to contact the vendors that I wanted to contact, do my own research, figure out exactly where I wanted the bridal shower to be versus leaving it up to my friends and my family. I know that sounds so terrible, but I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, especially if you're looking at this video. You are probably in the process of planning your own, or potentially an amazing maid of honor, mother of bride, mother of the groom, best friend, family member that's going to plan an amazing bridal shower for your special person. And so I do want to be of help for that. So first thing I thought about was, do I want this bridal shower to be inside or outside? When do I want the bridal shower to be? Do we want it to be hosted at a restaurant, at a venue, in my backyard? There were so many things to consider, so many pros and cons of doing it at a restaurant or doing it at in my backyard. Each thing had its own good and bad related to it, and so let's get into it. So I initially went on Yelp and I looked up places where you could host a party. I knew that I wanted about 30 people at my bridal shower. So with that being said, I needed to find a place that would accommodate 30 people. And initially I was like, okay, let me go on Yelp and find a place. I know that I will find a place that's gonna not only have the space, but also have the tables already included. Typically they'll have place settings like the tablecloths, and they'll have the water goblets, and they'll have some things that are included in the price. Usually you don't have to pay for the space, but you do pay a food and beverage minimum to host an event of 30 people plus. And so I was thinking, yes, this is for sure what I want to do. I am definitely gonna do it at a restaurant. I think this is the best thing. Less cleanup, that's a pro of it. Less cleanup. You don't have to bring a lot of your own things. Food's already included. Most of the stuff is gonna be controlled on the site versus relying on outside vendors. And so in looking at it, I was feeling like, you know, it seems like it would be the same price to do it in my backyard. So the dilemma with looking at all these different restaurants was that I couldn't find a lot of them that would be able to accommodate 30 people. And when I did find them, there was a time limit of 2 hours. And 2 hours to me isn't enough time. I wanted my bridal shower to be long. I wanted people to feel like they could stay, they could do whatever they wanted to do and not feel obligated to leave or whatever it was. I wanted it to be very chill and not as formal, I guess you could say. With that being said, I ended up doing research on what we would need to do it in my backyard. She basically renovated the backyard. She added some concrete. So overall, I think she renovated it. It was inspired from my bridal shower, but in general, it did enhance her house. I think it was a win-win for everybody, truthfully. So she did end up adding some concrete to the backyard. She ended up adding essentially an awning that she wanted because there was a lot of sun that was coming in on her backyard anyway. Overall, it just seemed like a better spot. I wanted it in the backyard. The con of doing this, if you don't already have all of the tables and the chairs to accommodate 30 plus people in your backyard, you do have to outsource that. So I did end up looking into a bunch of rental companies that would supply tables and chairs, arches, and stuff like that. I ended up going with Witty Rentals, which is also a company that, because of my great experience I had with them for my bridal shower, I ended up using them also for my wedding. So overall, I can't rave about this company enough. I think they're amazing. They are reasonably priced. They have the cutest selection of furniture that you can rent. So I ended up going with them. I ended up renting 3 long tables, which I'll insert a photo right here, that were wooden, and then about 30 chairs that came with the tables. I also rented a bar. The bar was really cute. And I also ended up renting essentially like a backdrop, which I will insert right here. Overall, everything came together really well. They were able to drop off and pick up all of the items well before my event so that we had enough time to decorate, and with enough time after to where nobody felt rushed. Like I said, 100% would recommend Witty Rentals if you're in the San Diego area. They did a fabulous job. backdrop on top of having a lot of nice items to choose from. The next thing that I needed to look into was a backdrop. I initially was thinking that I wanted to rent one, and so the ones that I ended up finding that were available to rent, they were upwards of $200, $300 just to rent for a day. I was talking to my husband and we decided let's try to make one. The more I looked into making this wooden backdrop, the more I felt like I'm a DIY person and I'm already kind of in deep with the wedding stuff, that I don't really want us to spend time making an arch, especially because it's not our forte. We didn't really know what to do, and I also wanted it to look professional and be very sturdy. So I ended up going on Facebook Marketplace. I found a guy that was able to make 2 arches, and I believe the cost was $400, and that included him dropping it off. So he ended up making 2 custom-made backdrops, wooden backdrops that I'll insert right here. He was able to custom paint them exactly how I wanted and did it within 3 weeks and dropped it off at my house here in North County. I love them. I ended up using them for my bridal shower, but I also repurposed them for my rehearsal dinner and also for our wedding. I used one of them at the rehearsal dinner for a backdrop, and I used the other one where we had our biodegradable confetti handouts at our wedding. Overall, I think we got really good use out of them. I still have them. I'm in a debate on if I want to sell them or not, or if I want to keep them just to use them for holidays and birthdays, because they are customizable. I can always paint them. We have a Cricut, so we can always add stuff to the backdrop and always buy neon signs and balloon arches and stuff like that. Overall, investing in a backdrop is probably the best thing to do, especially because it's a comparable price to renting, especially if you plan on hosting other things in the future, or if you have other friends that may want to use it, or you could even sell them. So 100% recommend purchasing them. In regards to a balloon arch, I did look into hiring someone doing a super cute balloon arch. I don't know if you guys have seen the prices on balloon arches. They're like, the one I wanted was like $800. And if you have money like that, woo, go for it. But personally, me, I was thinking I'd rather kind of spend that money on something else, like a charcuterie board, which I did end up getting. So in regards to the balloon arch, my maid of honor, my best friend, she told me, you know what, this is a really good company on Etsy that has really good balloons that are thick, they look opaque, they don't look cheap. I get all that stuff. You know, if I just buy one of their packs, which was about $78, her and my cousin blew all of those up with a pump. I highly recommend a balloon pump. They're like 20 bucks from Amazon. Again, same thing. Anytime you have a wedding event, bridal shower, bachelorette, actual wedding, rehearsal, birthday parties, everything can, for the most part, be reused. Or when you purchase something, you should look into that, making sure that this is something that most likely I can reuse, a friend can reuse, I can resell, or somebody's gonna benefit from it versus just being completely wasteful. I was super happy that my cousin and my best friend were able to make a beautiful balloon art. It turned out really well. It went well with my backdrop. We made a Cricut sign that said Future Miss Copel. I did end up booking a florist for my bridal shower. She made a welcome sign arrangement, which was really cute. A bunch of bud vases, centerpieces, which I basically hand selected exactly what I wanted. She came out from Los Angeles, brought everything down, they set everything up, they adorned the floral garland to my backdrop. I sent her a bunch of inspiration photos, which I pulled from Pinterest, and I feel like she completely knocked it out of the park, and I can't thank her enough for it. I believe, for me, florals make me super happy. Like, I love flowers. I do feel like if budget is a big concern for you, you can absolutely purchase from Trader Joe's. I think if you bought a bunch of white flowers or baby breath or anything that's in season, peonies, tulips, even lemon. I've seen people use lemon on tables. Everything looks really cute. For me personally, I did want to have essentially like arrangement looking flowers throughout my bridal shower, and it turned out really well and I loved it. As far as food goes, I did inquire with a barbecue company, sushi, Chipotle, Panera. Ultimately, we did end up booking a taco man who, honestly, such a great deal for 30 people. Unlimited carne asada, chicken, pork, unlimited tacos. So provided the tortillas, provided agua frescas, provided chips, guacamole, salsa, onion, all the fixings. And like I said, it was all you can eat. So he stayed for like, I think he would have stayed all night, truthfully, but he stayed about 2.5 hours and ended up letting us keep everything. He boxed everything up and I put it in my fridge. I think you can't go wrong with tacos. I love tacos. I live in Southern California, so I loved that. That was perfect for the event, and it ended up not being so formal but filling. People felt like they could go back for more. I really love feeding people. I love making sure that people have everything that they need. It makes me feel comfortable, especially when they're at my house at an event that I asked them to be at. I want to make sure that they have have enough food, enough water, enough alcohol, whatever it is they need. I want to make sure that they have enough of that. So doing an all-you-can-eat taco guy was chef's kiss. In regards to favors, I know a lot of people nowadays especially are like not into doing favors, especially if they're gonna get wasted or if people aren't gonna use them. And so for me, I knew I wanted to do some type of shower item. And so I ended up going to Marshall's and TJ Maxx 3 months prior to my bridal shower because they sell these full-size Philosophy shower gels and they're like $9, whereas they're usually $20 on the Philosophy website. I basically bought them out every time I went. I bought 40 of them and I did end up using those as my bridal shower favors. They were such a hit. I had a bunch of different scents and I love Philosophy, and so I was happy to share that with the people that made it a point to come and celebrate me for such a special event, being my bridal shower. That was worth the splurge, worth the investment, worth the time of going to a few different TJ Maxx and Marshalls and finding them and collecting them to give out as bridal shower favors. Another pro tip I think you can't go wrong with, because we ended up doing these at our wedding, are coasters, personalized coasters that said everybody's name. We ended up getting those from AliExpress. We bought a bunch of coasters. They were white and gold trimmed, and we ended up printing out gold foil Cricut vinyl for their names in cursive, and that was really cute. Everybody that was at my wedding, I speak to them obviously often. Most of them, if not every single one, still has these coasters, and they have them as decor, and it makes me feel good that my husband and I invested in something that people are actually using versus things that they forgot. It feels good to invest your money and treat people that came out to support you and also utilize those things. So those personalized coasters with their names not only acted as place settings so that people knew exactly where to sit, they also acted as wedding favors, and now they're acting as home decor for people. So I love it, I love it. Same thing for the Philosophy shower gel. They are most likely being used, have been used, gonna be regifted, whatever it may be. I feel confident that nobody threw it away. I did get a charcuterie board. Charcuterie boards are another thing that are pretty expensive, just like balloon arches. Everything in the wedding industry, entertainment industry, hosting industry is pretty expensive. You pay for convenience, right? Because when you're looking at charcuterie boards, you're thinking crackers, salami, cheese, berries. Those are relatively cheap items, but it's the convenience of having somebody come in, have it pre-made and set up so you don't have to worry about it. It's one less thing that you have to worry about. For me, I hate to say this, but the charcuterie board did not impress me. I spent quite a bit of money on one, and it obviously was enough for everybody. Like I said in all of my videos, I love overfeeding people, or at least having enough food so that people can indulge themselves and not feel like they're taking from other people. To me, it didn't look like enough. We had a lot of leftovers, so obviously it was enough for people who didn't like it. I would probably assume that it just was too much, but I really wanted a charcuterie board that almost took up a table, and this one took up a fourth of my table. And so for the cost, I feel like I wish I would have delegated it to one of my friends to make and just purchased everything. We probably would have spent the same amount of money, but it would have looked a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I don't even know if I got a photo of it because it just was like whatever. I would actually recommend, unless you're gonna go all out and spend like $1,000 on a charcuterie table, which I don't even recommend that, because you should invest that money into food, like actual food that people are gonna eat for their entrees. But if you decide that you want one, which I 100% recommend that you should have one, I would delegate it to someone. If I was the bride, or if I was the maid of honor, or if I was the person that was primarily putting this together and speaking to the vendors, having to get ready, I would 100% delegate this charcuterie table to someone else. But obviously you do the shopping for it and have everything ready to go so they can just clean everything and then put it together. As far as games, my maid of honor and my matron of honor, my best friend and my cousin, they had super cute games. I'm gonna insert some photos here. We of course had the ring game, which is self-explanatory. If you haven't heard of it, you walk in, you put on a ring, and you don't say specific words. So you don't say bride, and if somebody catches you having a conversation and saying these words, they get to take your ring. And by the end of the night, the guest that has the most rings wins a prize. That was one of the games that we had. Another one was essentially like musical chairs, but it was like musical bouquet. So we had a bouquet that went around in a circle. Everybody got in a circle, and I was able to turn on and turn off the music basically anytime, just like musical chairs. When the music stopped, everybody stopped moving, and whoever's holding the bouquet is unfortunately out. And that was so fun. One of the most fun things. And I think if you're having a bridal shower, you should 100% do that. Another game that we did was get in teams and make a wedding dress out of toilet paper. We had teams of 6 and each group had 5 to 10 minutes to make a beautiful wedding dress out of toilet paper. They then had a fashion show where I was able to pick the winner. So cute, super crazy. Highly recommend that game. Another game that we did was Bridal Jeopardy. My cousin is so sweet. She custom made this beautiful Bridal Jeopardy game, did all of this work to get correct answers. The winner also got a gift for that. Overall, doing it in my backyard, I loved. For me personally, even though I'm type A, I'm a little bit more laid back in that I like just chilling and having people over and kind of people coming and going at their leisure, not feeling rushed, not feeling inconvenient. My bridal shower lasted well until 9 o'clock at night. Honestly, it was like one of the most fun events that I had. And I love these events. If you're a bride and you're thinking about, should I do this event? Should I do that event? I recommend doing every event that you can, obviously within your budget, if you can, even if it's just gathering at a place to celebrate you. It's good for you to feel loved, but it's good for you to feel loved. It's also nice for your friends from all different parts of your life to get to meet each other and get to know each other, which makes the next event more fun and the next event more fun. And I love when everybody can hang out. My husband and I both knew that we wanted our wedding to feel really inclusive, for everybody to feel comfortable, because we knew that without all of these people from different parts of our lives, we wouldn't be who we were when we met each other. We wouldn't be who we are today. And therefore, our relationship wouldn't be what it is if it even existed. And so that's why we wanted to do all of these events. Overall, the bridal shower was a dream come true. I feel like it was well planned out. I feel so honored that I was supported by so many people, friends, family, people that travel to support me, and I am honored. I'm really grateful that I'm able to share all of these events. I'm grateful that we had a photographer for every wedding event so that I could show awesome photos to not only you guys, but for us to remember, for my future children. And hopefully you got something out of this. Doing it at a restaurant, awesome, 100% awesome. I don't think you could go wrong with doing it there as well. For me, this is just what worked out best, and I'm really happy I ended up doing it that way. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Please like this video, give me a thumbs up if you're liking what we're doing. Make sure to turn that bell notification on so that you know every time I upload a video, which will be every Monday, and make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.